A woman once carried a tuning fork into the forest, striking it softly as she walked. She expected the trees to answer with sound, but nothing echoed back. Days later, she returned in silence and noticed that the wind now hummed at the same tone. She hadn't forced it. She had simply matched it, and the world responded. You do not call alignment to you. You become still enough to hear that you already are it. Have you ever tried to feel aligned, only to wonder why nothing changed? In this video, you'll discover the quiet truth behind alignment. It's not an emotion to chase, but a frequency to become. We'll explore how silent manifestation begins when you stop performing and start embodying, not the one who wants, but the one who already has. Because when the frequency becomes you, everything you desire moves toward you, in silence. A tuning fork does not sing loudly, yet everything around it begins to vibrate in resonance. That is alignment. It is not a surge of joy. It is not the fireworks of hope. It is a steady tone beneath your emotions, a silent agreement between your inner world and what you've already claimed. Not a mood, a match. Many confuse alignment with excitement. They chase euphoria, thinking that high emotion creates fast results. But your desire doesn't need drama. It needs clarity. It responds to your alignment frequency, not your enthusiasm. And this frequency, it is consistent, quiet, felt in the still breath between thoughts. When you are truly aligned, you don't need to keep asking. You don't even need to feel extraordinary. You simply are. You exist in the same signal as the thing you once wanted. This is energetic alignment in its purest form. Not a spike of emotion, but a settled knowing. That knowing is the transmission. And so, if you've been trying to feel more, trying to stir emotion to prove your alignment, pause. Because the moment you start trying to feel aligned, you may be stepping out of it. A flame flickers most when you blow too hard to keep it alive. The same happens with desire. The more you try to feel it, the more you confirm to yourself that it's missing. Emotion, when forced, becomes a performance, not a signal. And the universe, I tell you, does not respond to acting. It responds to being. When you try too hard to feel aligned, you create inner tension. That tension speaks louder than your visualizations. Your subconscious hears, "It's not here yet," no matter how beautiful the affirmation. And so, even though your words are positive, the vibration frequency is strained. It sends contradiction into the field. Effortful emotion is like a strained smile. It may pass for sincerity, but something within you knows it isn't true. And your body, your breath, your signal reflect that truth. You don't manifest what you fake. You manifest what you carry in your silence. So trying to force alignment often delays it. But there's another way, a gentler way, one that doesn't rely on emotion to convince, but on identity to align. It's not about how much you feel, but about what you've become. The tree does not feel grown. It simply is. It does not search for the feeling of rootedness or bloom into blossom by force. It stands in the truth of what it already is. This is the essence of alignment. Not an emotion to stir, but a self to embody. You don't chase the feeling, you become the form. You may say, "I want wealth," or "I want love," but if you still identify as the one who lacks it, your energy cannot attract it. The universe doesn't deliver based on requests. It delivers based on reflections. So the invitation is not to feel more, but to step into the version of yourself who already has. This is embodied manifestation. Emotion fluctuates. It rises and falls like weather, but embodiment remains. When you walk, breathe, and live as if the desire is already yours, not pretending but remembering, your world begins to respond. This is not acting, this is alignment. And it is more powerful than any emotion you can conjure. And what supports this embodiment most is not noise but stillness, not expression but coherence. And so we enter the quietest field of all, where stillness becomes the clearest signal. A mirror reflects perfectly only when it is still. When the surface is calm, the image appears clear. This is the power of stillness, not as absence, but as precision. You may think silence means nothing is happening, But I tell you, it is in stillness that the deepest shifts take place. Stillness is not empty, it is exact. Stillness is the language of trust. When you're no longer scrambling, proving, or adjusting, you are aligned. The desire has moved from performance to presence. You've stopped needing the world to reflect it because you've become the proof. This is the heart of silent manifestation. It speaks without noise, and yet the universe hears every word. When the mind quiets, the signal strengthens. No emotional high, no affirmational script can outpower a silent, aligned presence. It radiates clarity. It tells the universe, I am no longer asking. And that stillness, not your doing, but your being, begins to shape what surrounds you. And the reason this works is simple, because whether you realize it or not, you are always sending a signal. Even in silence, a radio station sends out its signal, uninterrupted. So do you. Whether aware or unaware, your energy speaks. It announces your beliefs, your identity, your state of being, long before you speak a word. This is the truth. You are always broadcasting, and the world responds to your dominant signal, not your passing thoughts. You may wonder why something hasn't arrived yet, but I ask, what signal are you living from most of the day? Do you wake as the one who has, or the one still waiting? This is not a judgment, it's an invitation. Because when you choose consciously, you step into vibration frequency rather than emotional reaction. Unconscious alignment is the default, but conscious alignment is the gift. The moment you pause and become aware of what you're radiating, you regain your power. You can shift your tone not through force, but through choice. And I tell you, your reality will always match the tone you carry, not the script you recite. So the work is not to project louder. It is to become the identity that speaks clearly, even in silence. A king does not wonder if the crown fits. He simply wears it. The one who has does not ask. They do not rehearse. They remember. This is the shift from desiring the thing to being the self who already lives within it. You are not becoming worthy of it. You are becoming aware that you already are. This identity is not imagined once and forgotten. It is lived. It breathes in the subtle choices, the tone of your thoughts, the softness of your posture, the quiet confidence in your waiting. You move differently, not because you are pretending, but because you are remembering. You're not chasing alignment, you are it. When you fully embody the identity of the one who has, the universe no longer sees desire, it sees fulfillment. You are no longer a seeker, you are a reflection of completion. This is the essence of energetic alignment. And I tell you, the world must now conform, not by your command, but by your being. And yet, what unlocks this embodiment faster than force or striving is a tone far quieter, yet infinitely more magnetic: neutrality. A compass always returns to north, not because it pushes, but because it rests. This is the power of neutrality. It is not indifference. It is not resignation. It is the frequency of inner balance, the silent certainty that allows your desire to arrive without interference. Neutrality is magnetic because it carries no resistance. Most confuse neutrality with giving up, but I tell you, it is the opposite. It is full presence without the pressure. When you no longer grasp or avoid, your energy becomes clean, coherent. You are no longer vibrating with longing. You are tuned to what already is. This is the core of alignment frequency. Neutrality doesn't weaken the signal. It purifies it. No noise, no need, just alignment. It tells the universe, there is nothing in the way. And in that absence of resistance, reality rushes in. Because neutrality doesn't push desire away. It holds the door open without demanding. But how do you reach this tone, this sacred ease, without effort? By tuning in, not by force, but by quiet attunement. A radio does not scream to find the right station. It simply turns the dial. No force, just a subtle shift. This is how alignment works. You don't grab it, you glide into it. The most powerful frequencies are found in softness, not because they are weak, but because they require no effort to maintain. When you try to tune in with pressure, you jam the signal. But when you pause, breathe, and gently feel into the version of you who already has, you find the station. You begin to vibrate at the level of the desire itself, not from striving, but from surrender. That is silent manifestation. You can visualize it like tuning a stringed instrument. You don't tighten it until it breaks. You listen. You adjust gently. That's what tuning into your desired frequency feels like. A subtle remembering, a quiet realignment with what you already know is yours. And when that tone becomes natural, not forced, not mimicked, it becomes you. And that, dear friend, is the truth of all alignment. The sky does not chase light. It becomes the sunrise. This is the final secret of alignment. You do not visit the frequency. You do not dip into it occasionally. You become it. And when you do, there is no longer a gap between you and the desire, because you are the one it naturally flows to. This is embodied manifestation at its highest level. No pretending, no pushing, just presence. You carry the tone of fulfillment in your walk, your words, your thoughts, not because you're trying to convince the world, but because you've remembered who you already are. And from that remembering, reality shifts. You don't chase the result anymore, because the result now recognizes you. You've stopped tuning in to alignment and started living as it. This is the sacred loop where desire dissolves into identity, and identity reshapes the world around you. You have become the frequency, and when you become the frequency, desire becomes inevitable. Are you still trying to feel aligned when you could simply become the alignment itself? What would shift if you stopped chasing the feeling and started tuning into the silent version of you who already has it all? Who would you be if the frequency wasn't something you found, but something you remembered? Let me know in the comments. And if this resonated with your inner truth, like the video, subscribe and tap the bell so you can keep aligning with the stillness that calls everything in.